Now, I was once in your position where I was working on a help desk. I was bombarded with calls every day, fixing low-level problems like password resets, unlocking users' accounts, and helping Debbie and HR save a PDF file. I was struggling for a lack of direction on how to get promoted or what skills I need to learn. I now work as a senior cloud engineer. I've been working in technology for 10 years, so I think I may be able to grant you a bit of advice and a bit of direction on what you need to do to get off of the help desk. Now, what do all of these engineering roles have in common? Almost all of them, you need to know how to code. If we take DevOps, for example, knowing how to code in DevOps is focused on automation. Even if you work in a data analyst role, they'll know how to code to some degree with Python. Now, the question is, how can you utilize knowing how to code whilst working on the help desk? Now, if you're working on a Windows environment, how can you automate tasks? How can you make your life easier? Well, one thing you can do is write a PowerShell script. And this is exactly what I did. So all the boring, annoying tasks, automate all of that with PowerShell. What are you going to learn with PowerShell? You're going to learn how to do a variable, you're going to learn how to do a function, an if-else statement, a for loop. Now these are all programming basics, right? And all of those tool sets you can do in Python as well. Now that's only one aspect. So okay, well you've kind of learned yourself how to code, you've automated a lot of your job on the help desk. What else do you need to know? Now I'm going to focus on DevOps and cloud engineering specifically because it's kind of my specialty and it's the area where I work. Now the next thing is going to be infrastructure as code. Let's just say Terraform. Now how can you learn Terraform? Well, the beauty of this is that it's free. A lot of these tool sets that you can learn are open source. You can do it in your spare time. Now I can understand you've been at work all day, you're mentally fatigued. Do you really want to work in the evening again? Well, at the end of the day, it comes down to you, right? If you want to get somewhere, and you want to get promoted, you want to earn more money, you want to help out your family, it does come down to you. Of course, there's going to be some luck along the way. People are going to leave roles, you may be able to get an internal promotion, and someone values that you're willing to work hard. But 90% of the time, you need to put in the work. What is the next thing that you're going to want to know? Well, you're going to want to know a cloud provider. So that's AWS or Azure. And then what comes next? Well, we could go with containers. And we could say we need to learn how Docker. Again, Docker is free to use. You can do it at home. You can create yourself a simple hello world web file, go through the process of actually creating a Docker container. If you can spare an hour a day, if you can't spare an hour a day, spare 30 minutes, watch a tutorial. The next day, 30 minutes, deploy the container. So as you can see, what we're starting to build here is a roadmap. Now this is your roadmap. You don't need to copy someone else. What you need to do is what makes you most comfortable. You're on your own journey and you're going to reach there in your own time. Now what you want to do next, figure out a way that you can showcase your skills. Let's say you've learned a cloud provider, you learned infrastructure as code, you learn how to build a container. So what you want to create is a portfolio. Now I did exactly the same when I was trying to move from an infrastructure engineer into cloud engineering. And there's other things you can add to your portfolio, maybe some automation scripts you've done along the way. You know, there was one thing I did in the past where I created like a automated Twitter bot, put out tweets every day to a certain niche. That account would generate followers. So it proves that something you're building, people are actually using it. I think that's one of the main important aspects of building your own project portfolio is that if you are building something that people aren't using, it's hard to showcase that you know what you're doing. The other thing is that you actually need to really knuckle down an understanding on everything you're building. When you get to interview stage, they're going to question you on it. So if you don't know the answers and you flop it, that's on you. And the hardest part is actually going to be securing an interview. You need to do some networking along the way, maybe on LinkedIn, create some friends, join in a Discord group, especially if you're trying to move externally. Now, if you're trying to move internally, that can actually be easier. And the reason for that is because companies value internal progression. It's something they harp on about. Now, when it comes to an interview, it's going to be soft skills. It's also going to be technical. Now, the soft skills you can master. That's quite easy to do. You go online, look at all the soft skills questions, go on a Glassdoor, search at the company, go on the interview section, look at what people have put in, what they've been asked in the past. The technical side, you can't prepare for. Some companies will tell you what they're going to ask you beforehand. They'll actually allow you time to research and provide your answers, and then they'll grill you on what your answers are. Primarily, I'd say 70%, the technical is on the spot. And the final stage is, congratulations, you've got the job. Now, what the people really want to know is how long is that going to take? I worked on a help desk for about a year. I then worked in a desktop engineering team. I then worked in an on-prem infrastructure engineering team. And then I landed my first role as a cloud engineer. That was around 5 years. And I actually believe I could have done that faster by skipping out some jobs. I probably could have skipped out the desktop engineering team and maybe moved straight into the infrastructure engineering team from working on the help desk. Do you need to do any certifications along the way? You can do. I don't think certifications really are that important. And the reason I say that is because they're just a piece of paper. They don't teach you how to put out a fire. They don't teach you how to deal with clients. They don't teach you how to deliver architecture. You can't become a cybersecurity engineer without knowing how to build and deploy architecture. You know, how can you secure something that you don't know how's built? How can you exploit something that you don't know how it's built? So as I say, it is on you. You need to define your own roadmap. You need to define what job you want, how you're going to get there. Do you need any other jobs in between that job, like I did? And then put a time frame in, say 6 to 12 months, to learn the complete technology stack of a job, especially to like a junior level. It shouldn't take you any longer than 6 months. In the next 6 months, it's networking, it's building a portfolio, it's applying for jobs, getting really good at interviews. And that is how you're going to get promoted off of the help desk.